Hi guys, welcome to another session of Culinary Healing, and it's me, Jill van As, author of Epicurean Journal, Family's Love. So in the previous little episode, we spoke about the introduction of the book and what it means to me and why I wrote this book. So today we're going to just jump into a recipe, and it's not necessarily the very first recipe in the book, but because it is called Culinary Healing, I need to talk about it. Why was the kitchen my crutch and what has happened that I felt most comfortable in the kitchen. So I'm going to read you my whole yellowtail recipe. I think this was a tough one to write because it was one of the most difficult experiences in my life. So I'm going to read it to you. So this dish takes me back to an extremely devastating time, although it also brought clarity and has made me stronger. Definitely made me stronger, and writing this definitely brought more clarity because I think I felt that I've dealt with what I'm going to speak about already in my life, but I actually didn't. We had just come back from winter break, and this was the very first meal I cooked. Winter break was soul crushing. As a young 18-year-old girl, my purity and innocence was ripped away. A stranger broke into our home and violated me. It was the lowest and most degrading moment of my life. I felt like it was all my fault. My dress was too short, I was too friendly, and the list can go on. But let me tell you something today, it is not your fault. If you've been through it, it's not your fault. It was not my fault, and it's definitely not your fault. When I got back to class, I had to make this fish. I forgot to score the fish, and if you understand anything about cooking, scoring is basically when you do little lines on the fish or cuts into the fish so that the skin can crisp up nicely and not really look all wrinkled up. I forgot to score the fish. I over-seasoned it. Everything was wrong with this fish, simply because everything was wrong with me. I could not focus, I was afraid, and I thought people were judging me. Even though they never knew what transpired, my confidence was extremely low. And in this picture, I don't know if you can have a look. So in the picture, there's no score line. So you'll see, there's nothing that I scored in the fish. I purposefully never scored it so that, to show that in my imperfection, something pretty perfect can happen, or in my imperfection lies perfection. And yes, a fish tells me all of that. So that's the story behind my whole yellowtail. And when I speak about soul crushing and devastation, I mean soul crushing and devastation. I think it's probably the worst thing that any woman can experience. I don't even understand, or I can't even comprehend what would make a man do something like that, and who died and made him God, who gives him the right to violate a person in such a degrading manner? Who gave him the right? And then you try and pick up the pieces, and you try and go back to normal life, but something in you has changed. A lot has changed in you. I became a lot more aware of my surroundings, who I'm with, who I keep my company with, and wow, trust was another something that was really, really hard to do. But I had a good support structure, and I had my parents, my sister, I had the ministers from my church that checked in, that prayed. And at times I think, that was difficult because, God, why did you allow this? I mean, how do you even allow people like this on this earth that you've given us, this world? How did you allow this to happen? And all those questions do go through your mind, and you somehow wonder, how am I going to get through this? But I did. I wrote a book. I own a business, I have a husband, I have a home, I have a family. I did all of those things. Not without, obviously, support, not without tears, and definitely not without fear. And when I speak about fear, when you're alone at home, or that kind of fear, that fear that you don't have to be afraid because you're surrounded with people that loves and cares for you. But that fear will always just like creep up on you on the worst and oddest occasions. But you learn to deal with things. You carry yourself in a different manner. And you also learn to become bolder and stronger. And like I said, I thought I dealt with all of these things until I had to do this book. And I needed to be authentic about it. And I needed to, if I'm using my life stories, this is probably the biggest life story, or the biggest part of my life story, or the most devastating part of my life story. I had to be authentic. And it was hard to write it. And I think it was even harder, a couple of days as it led up to the launch of the book. I became not fearful, but anxious. What are people going to think? Because people, so in this world, judgment is so easily passed. Not a lot of people knew about it. What are people going to think of me? What are people going to say about me? And the night of the launch, when I actually spoke about it, and I really needed to speak about it, and I had to call it what it is. I need to say, I was raped, and I am a survivor, and I have accomplished all of these things because it was not my fault. And in that moment, I felt the freedom that I can finally let it go. In that moment, this book gave me that freedom. So now, we've been through that, and this book gave me that freedom. Like I said, I want to read you another story because I think it ties in. This is going to be a bit of a long session, but I think it's okay. It deserves the time. So there's another recipe in my book called the bunny chow. And with women that go through some of these things, or people that go through this, they generally don't have a support structure. And I'm just going to read you this. So bunny chows remind me of my student days, back when I could eat that sort of food with still staying trim, yeah. So on my return to campus after the June break, or the winter break, and the rape, and my complete flop in the kitchen, my friends noticed that I was different and withdrawn. During our break, they dragged me down to the canteen, and the table was set with bunny chows. They said, "Jill, we can see that something is wrong. Just know we are here for you." Not questioning, not asking why. To lift your spirits, we've bought you lunch to show you our love. Their support and kindness made me feel safe and that everything would be just fine. In an imperfect state, a perfect moment of love and friendship was experienced. I made a visual twist to this dish, and eating or preparing this dish always fills my heart with so much joy. The refinement I've made to this traditional dish shows how I've grown from that point of my life to where I am now. So when I'm speaking about refinement, it's not just this half a bread filled with curry. I actually make an effort. And by refining this, it showed me growth and strength. But I couldn't also get to that point without the support. When I speak about support, I speak about the support of my parents, my sister, and my dad especially. My dad held my hand and he showed me that all men are not bad. He showed me that you can trust and it's okay. And he held my hand when I couldn't stand alone in a lift. He wrapped his arms around me when I felt that my whole life was falling apart. My dad did that. And he showed me that it's okay, that he will always be there. My mom wiped away my tears and my sister held my hand. And together as a family, I never ever thought what it did to them or how it affected them. But in that moment, the family became closer and stronger, and I can truly say that family is love. And yeah, my friends was love. And not, like I said, not a lot of women have the support. But let me tell you something today, that you are not defined by what has happened to you. You are so much more than that. You can't allow something to destroy your entire life. Yes, he's taken a big chunk from me. And, I don't know if he's alive today or he's dead or whatever wherever he might find himself. And if he ever should come across this video, you didn't break me, you know? You actually gave me fuel to my fire to become stronger and bolder, and so that I can speak to you today from my home with my husband and my family and our business and the success that we've created. You didn't break me. You maybe crushed my soul. You maybe took a part of me away, but you didn't break me. And I don't understand how you could even, what goes through your mind to do something like that. And it's up to us today to teach our boys that no is no, and there's boundaries. And even in a marriage, even in a relationship, if you say no, it's a no. It's not because I'm married to you or I'm dating you that it's okay to do it. No. You still need my consent because this is my body. My body is my temple. And you get annoyed probably at times, but it is, I actually don't care how you feel. If somebody said no to you, you should accept that no. Because you have no control over their life, over their body, over what they do. So we need to teach our kids to be kind. And we, in this world of judgment, oh my word, this world can judge. We never know when somebody's walking past, the person didn't breathe or this, they might have been going through something bad today, and we can say, oh, she's a miserable person, but you don't know the battles that they're facing. So let us be kind towards each other and show a little bit of love through either making that pot of food or just stretching out your hand. So if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm here. I'm here to hold your hand. And I'm here to listen, because ultimately you want somebody that listens. That's all you want, is somebody to just understand. And what I want you to take away from this today, that it's not your fault. It's nothing that you have done that gives anybody the power to take it away, because he's not God. He didn't, I don't know, I sometimes think who died and made him God to be able to do something like that. But it's not your fault. It's not your fault. So I can go on forever and ever, but my book, it's available on Amazon or Take a Lot. And I can truly say family is love. So if you want it, you can DM me and I can maybe do a signed copy. But have a look, have a read. It's just so much more than a cookbook. And like I said, whoever needs a hand or a shoulder to cry on, I'm here.